Powerlifting at this point in my life means so much and so much more than I ever thought that it could.
It's really cool. We interact really well, and there's a lot of love.
Especially as a woman, you know, you feel very capable and strong. The years before this was, you know, a male-dominant sport. Females have come into the sport and, you know, we're showing that we can be really strong and capable too. So that's a really good feeling.
It's not only something that I love to do as a sport, but it's so many friends, I've seen so many things, and I've had so many opportunities that I never ever dreamed I could have.
It's really cool to come to people from France or Italy or Germany or Japan, and we all have this commonality of wanting to be strong and better powerlifters, and it kind of brings us together.
Everything has to match, especially we, as physios or as coaches, we try to maximize what the athletes can perform in this time frame, and we try to give our best.
So they can do their best.
It's really cool that now I have friends in a community across the world opposed to just like within my city. And like we get along great. I message them all the time on like Instagram or whatever the case may be, just like check in. The silver lining to it all, it teaches you to continue to work. It teaches you that there's still stuff to be done. It pushes you to be better, to do more. Sometimes if you're at the top, you can get complacent. And that's a wrap. Let's go see the competition.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2025 IPF World Sub-Junior and Junior Powerlifting Championships here in San Jose, Costa Rica. I'm Amelia Potter, joined by Briar Lynch. Hello.
Good afternoon.
And we have a very exciting session for you. We have the 66 kilo sub-juniors, and we have quite a few names that could be fighting for the overall here. We have two flights, so as we did before, the first flight will be the first group of sub-junior 66s, followed by those that are more likely to be contending for those overall medals, but we'll see how it jumps around as we head into our first lifter.
Our first lifter out in the 66 sub-juniors is Max Lee from Ireland, opening with 140 kilos on the bar. Max is only 18 years old and he's been competing for 2 years. That was really quick, which is what we like to see with opening attempts.
3 white lights, a good lift.
Our next lifter out is Daniel Cox from Australia with 155 kilos on the bar. His listed PB is 165, so maybe he's aiming to make a new PB today.
Yeah, and I imagine we'll see a lot of the sub-juniors looking to walk along that path.
They look very controlled for an opener, and he's got the 3 white lights, he's on the board. Our next lifter is Minato Uchida from Japan, who's only been competing for 1 year. He's got 160 kilos on the bar here for his opener.
Team Japan always out in full force to support their lifters. Come to the front of the room with their flag every single lift, every single session.
And that's what we love to see.
Ooh, unfortunately 2-1, no lift. Gets a depth call here from 2 referees. Briar, give me your insight as a ref looking at this replay.
Yeah, looking at it, I was questioning it from where we're sitting, and he did get the red from the side that we're sitting on. Our next lifter coming out now is actually one of my own, Rylan Patterson from New Zealand. He's the first Kiwi lifter that we have here at these championships. He's taking 162.5 kilos on the bar. Rylan has only actually been powerlifting for 9 months.
Wow. So incredibly impressive to get here already.
Absolutely, and he's very young as well, just a brand new 17-year-old.
Yeah, and lifting with the composure of somebody who's been competing a lot longer.
Absolutely, I'm sure he'll be happy with that. I know that for some of these sub-junior lifters, the nerves are playing a big part, especially before that first squat. Our next lifter is from Argentina, Facundo Adrian Inquinas, with 170 kilos on the bar.
This already would be a 15 kilo personal best on his squats. We've seen that from a few of the Argentinian and a few of the Ecuadorian lifters opening well above their personal bests.
Yeah, and I mean, it means their day can start good and only go up from there. Oh, look at that depth as well.
And it's a good lift, maybe a little more difficult than you'd want that opening attempt to look, but could be just shaking off a few comp day nerves. And as you see with a lot of the sub-juniors, as we've spoken about before, it's before a lot of them have discovered that perfect level of depth. They don't always necessarily need to get to the physical capabilities of their body, but...
Yeah, it's almost like they're giving themselves a longer range of motion. Now we've got J. Martin Mendoza from the Philippines with 177.5 kilos on the bar. Really taking his time to get set up properly under that bar, which is nice to see.
Yeah, you just need that squat command before the time runs out, so if you give yourself enough time for that, you should be plenty fine, and he does.
Yeah, 2-1 there, one on the far side referee for depth, which is the side you're viewing now. Our next lifter now is Jaden Michaels from Australia with 187.5 kilos on the bar.
And it moved well. I just want to wait for the lights. 2-1, a good lift. I was a little concerned about the depth, as the far referee was as well. We'll have a look at the replay again here, but I'm happy to see the 2 whites.
Yeah.
And it definitely looks better on the replay.
Yeah, it does, and I suppose that's why we have 3 referees as well. And the thing is some people can look deep enough on one side and not be on the other side, especially if they've got wonky leverages or a wonky squat stance. Now we've got Victor Lebel from Canada with 190 kilos on the bar, one of our bigger openers in this flight. We've only got one more lifter of first rounds, and then we'll be moving on to the second.
I think he just jumped that command.
Yeah, I did wonder about the depth as well there. So the yellow lights would be for jumping that rack command, and the red light would have been for depth.
Yeah, he has one of those techniques where his torso is so far forward. Not only is it a little bit more difficult to tell depth, but for the referees, but also for himself as a lifter.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next lifter from Mexico is Braulio Zepeda with 195 kilos on the bar. This is the heaviest opener of this flight. But as Amelia said before, we do have an A flight coming up, and those are the lifters with the higher total nominations.
I can't see too much wrong with that.
No, it was very fast and it was deep as well.
I like to say good lift.
So we'll be moving on now to the second round of squats for this flight. Our first lifter out will be Max Lee from Ireland, again with 152.5. On your screen now you can see what the results are looking like so far after one squat. There's 2 lifters yet to get a squat on the board, but that's why you've got 3 attempts. They can always come back and get it.
Max Lee seems to be having a good time already, and it's nice to see lifters be able to enjoy their experience as well as put their full effort in.
Yeah, absolutely. The bar's loaded now. They did have to unload the 190 back down to the 152.5. Spotters and loaders lifting every kilo that does get lifted on the platform.
Almost pauses it in the hold there.
Yeah, very slow on the way up, but a tidy squat nonetheless, and he does get the 3 white lights. I do wonder how much he has left in the tank for his third and what kind of jump Team Ireland are going to take.
Yeah, it was a 12.5 kilo jump from the first to the second. I think 5 kilos at a push, 2.5 kilos to be safe there.
Perhaps a 5 kilo jump does seem to be the favourite, especially for the bigger lifts such as squats and deadlifts. But we did talk about 2.5s and how we'd rather take 2.5 than lose 5 yesterday. We have now our Japanese lifter, Minato Uchida, with 160 kilos on the bar. He's retaking his first attempt.
Yeah, not a strength issue here, so just needs to hit depth a little better this time round.
It's 2-1. It is a good lift for now, but of course, if there are discrepancies in the lights, the jury does get to look at it. And with a 3-person jury, they need to be unanimous to overturn it.
The bar is loaded.
Oh, and I think they might be reaching for it. Yeah, and unfortunately the jury's overruled it. Still no squat on the board for Uchida.
Yeah, I did wonder whether those 2 white lights were in danger. We have now Daniel Cox, our Australian lifter, taking 162.5 kilos for his second attempt, which is a 7.5 jump from his first, but his first moved pretty well. And I think 7.5 is a decent jump in squat attempts. That was very, very smooth and very, very deep. You can see the depth on this replay here. It definitely makes side refereeing a lot easier when there's no questions about it. Because in the moment, people aren't in the hole very long and you have to make a snap decision. Out now we've got Ryland Patterson again from New Zealand with 170 kilos on the bar, 7.5 kilo jump from his opener, and this will be a 2.5 kilo PB.
And already with the first Kiwi lift of the championships, a lot of support in the crowd for him.
Yeah, we do know how to make a lot of noise.
Really good to fight through that. His knees caved and knocked around a little bit.
They did. That didn't seem to throw him off too much, though.
Which is good, and I think if he controls it a little bit more in his third, he should be absolutely fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose he is one of the lifters who's got very little experience, so that control might come later on. So it'll be interesting to see what the New Zealand coaching team does put as his third. I would say a 2.5 or a 5 would probably be a reasonable pick for him. We now have our Argentinian lifter, Facundo Adrian Enquinas, with 182.5 kilos, which is a 12.5 kilo jump from his first attempt. Well, that is rough for a second, but I think he put himself at a disadvantage with his depth. I think we spoke about that in his first attempt there.
Yeah.
Lucky we have the spotters there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll look at this again in the replay, and it's really extreme depth. And if that's not something that's going to change, I can't see it moving much differently in his third. It's a pretty big jump, 12.5 kilos, especially, you know, as a sub-junior lightweight lifter.
Our next lifter out now is J. Martin Mendoza from the Philippines with 187.5 kilograms, which is a 10 kilo jump up from his opener.
Nearing previous PB territory. Yeah, still relatively smooth there.
Yeah,
Mendoza.
that moved like a second should, and I think he is going to push for a new PB there. He did get one read on the far side for depth, which is the angle that you're going to see now.
Yeah, but I think it should be more than safe. I just think it's the angle of his hip and his knees more than anything that is hard for the ref to see firsthand.
Possibly. And the black singlet as well does make things difficult. We've now got Victor LaBelle from Canada with 190 kilos on the bar.
A second attempt should push your limits but not surpass them. It should leave you in a place where you have enough kilos to grow into that third and push the boundaries there.
Yeah, Victor retaking his first attempt, which he did miss on depth. That already looks better, but we'll have to see what the refs say.
2-1 a good lift, and usually when you say it looks better, I feel pretty safe with that. I know that you are firm with your decisions.
I have been told off for being quite harsh on squat depth previously.
Well, you are the sister of Red Light Rory.
I am indeed. Red Light Briar doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
We'll figure it out.
The bar's loaded now for Jaden Michaels from Australia with 195 kilos.
This is a match personal best We'll see the rankings of squat jump around a little bit, but as Brian mentioned earlier, we have another flight of 66s to follow.
A little bit slow there on the way up, but I don't think it was at any risk of stopping.
And it's a good lift, 3 white lights.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I'll be interested to see what they put for his third. Our bar is now loaded to 207.5 kilos for Brolio Zepeda.
Can we get an additional 2 spotters, please? 2 spotters more. Yes, go.
Just grabbing a couple of extra spotters as it's above 200 kilos.
Yeah, I think that was slightly too late there. And he didn't need them anyway.
Yeah, strength definitely there, and 2 to 1, a good lift. Zepeda said, don't worry about the 2 extra spotters, they won't need them.
Yeah, no need for that. Yeah, the spotters are now just unloading so we can get back to the start of this round for the third attempt. We've still got one lifter yet to post a score in squats, and that's our Japanese lifter, Uchida. So he will need to retake that 160 and get that depth.
Yeah, and it's certainly not a case of strength, like you said. It's just so hard sometimes to change that uniform technique that you're used to training with on the day.
Absolutely, and I suppose that's the benefit of having people at the gym with you when you're training who know what to look for. Max Lee is now coming out for his third with 157.5 kilos on the bar. They did opt to take a 5 kilo jump, which was our prediction, so we'll see if he's got the gas for it.
A little bit more serious this time round. The final attempt.
Less time for laughs than his thirds in the life.
Oh, a great fight. So close, but a valiant effort.
Yeah, absolutely. I had hope there in the middle. Maybe a magic 2.5 would have done the trick, but he's happy. He's happy with his grind.
He needs this lift to stay in the competition. Bring out the Japanese flag. Yes, bring out the flag.
The bar getting loaded to 160 kilos now for our Japanese lifter, Minato Yoshida. He does need this to stay in the competition. So if everyone can send their best depth vibes to Minato, I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Yeah, needs this to post a total. Without a squat, he'll be disqualified from the competition, can continue to lift but cannot compete. Strength is certainly there, just half an inch lower. Has to convince that one referee so the jury can't touch it. It definitely looks the best of the 3.
It does look the best, but what do the referees think? Thank goodness for that. 3 whites, he's on the board, and Team Japan and the whole rest of the audience really approved that call as well.
Now the mindset you want to take forward from here isn't disappointment from only getting 1 squat in, it's relief and great, I can attempt my next 6 as planned. You know, it can tear you down or it can build you up.
The bar is loaded now for Daniel Cox of Australia with 167.5 for his third.
This will be for a 2.5 kilo personal best, should he make this.
nice. And a smile on the way up because he knew that he had it once he passed that sticking point. And 3 white lights, rewarded for his efforts.
Yeah, very well selected last attempt there from Team Australia.
Yeah, that was probably right on the money there with that attempt.
Yeah, well executed by the lifter as well. Great
sure.
teamwork.
Next up we have our Kiwi, Rylan Patterson. He's going to attempt 175 kilos, which will be a 5 kilo PB.
Yeah, and his knees wobbled a little bit out the hole in his second, and I think this should be there for him should he be able to control the bar just a smidge more.
Yeah, I do believe I just heard his coach shouting out control, so hoping that sinks in.
Yeah, certainly not an issue of strength. Just needs to, as we said, and his coach said, control it a little bit better. And it looks a lot better coming out the hole, and there we go. We knew the strength was there.
Yeah, and his knee kind of kept its path a little bit better. He is happy with that. What a good round of squats from Rylan. A lot of relief there from Team New Zealand as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure some lessons that he will take forward, and he learnt them in a positive way as well, which is great.
Absolutely. He didn't lose anything through learning those lessons. We have now our Argentinian lifter retaking his second attempt, 182.5 kilos on the bar. I think he just dipped a little bit too low and lost the power. He does have all 5 spotters there now, so he is extra safe, but I have faith that he will be able to sort this out.
Much more control this time. I just think the 12.5 kilos was too ambitious.
Yeah. 12.5 kilos as a percentage of body weight and a percentage of the weight he's actually lifting. It's a fair chunk.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 15, 16 odd percent. It's quite a lot of his own body weight.
The bar is loaded now for J. Martin Mendoza of the Philippines with 195 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump from his second attempt.
Looking for a personal best here, 5 kilos. Again, getting nice and settled. Nice to see a few of our lifters taking the time they need, not rushing.
Absolutely, they've got a full minute to get the start command. He almost used the full minute, so hopefully it serves him well.
Yeah, absolutely perfectly executed by Mendoza, and 2-1, a good lift.
Yeah, he did get a read on that far side again, so you'll be able to see what the far referee has seen on this side. I think he's probably pretty safe with that.
No more changes with the openers. No more changes.
Next up, we're going to have Jaden Michaels of Australia with a nice round 200 kilos on the bar.
Yeah, it'll be his first time hitting this milestone lift, and in powerlifting there are certain points of milestones that lifters look for. 200, certainly one of those. Perfect attempt selection there, and perfect execution from Michaels.
Absolutely, and fist bumps for the spotters, keeping him safe, but they didn't need to be there. Gave the nod on the way up, knew he was going to stand up with it. Coming out now, we've got Victor Lebel from Canada with 202.5 kilos on the bar. This will be the second to last squat in this flight before we move on to the A flight lifters.
looking to match his personal best here. Hoping to get back on his plan after missing his opener. Still moving really well. Let's look for the lights. He got called for depth on his opener, but no, a good lift.
Yeah, 3 whites on a third attempt. You have to be pretty happy with that. Our final lifter for this flight will be Braulio Zepeda from Mexico with 212.5 kilos on the bar. 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt.
And the bar is loaded.
Looking for a 7.5 kilo personal best after matching it on his second. Made it look pretty comfortable as well. Let's see if he has another 7.5 kilos in him.
Looks a little bit shaky on that walkout, but we'll see. No, unfortunately, just a little bit too heavy there. But that is what third attempts are for, pushing boundaries.
Yeah, and it's not always indicative of a lift being difficult, being shaky, but it certainly is sometimes an indicator.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that concludes the squats as they stand right now from the first flight. Leading that flight is Zepeda from Mexico, followed by Lebel from Canada and Michaels from Australia, subject to change. Now as we head into the second group of 66s, where we'll really see the battle for not just the squat medals, but the overall fights build and grow through the day. We have openers all the way up until 225. The world sub-junior record standing at 238 currently. First out, Eli Mallet from Canada, 170 kilos.
So we've got 10 lifters in this A flight, and we had 9 in the B flight before. Again, exhibiting that control that we've seen from a few of the sub-junior lifters.
Yeah, very well controlled there from Eli. 3 right lights, a good lift. See that again here, almost adopting tempo. Just so he knows how the weight feels the entire time it's on his back. Marcos Rodriguez Castro from Spain. $175 kilos. Yeah, very snappy opener from Rodriguez Castro.
Yeah, super speedy.
That is a good lift. 3 white lights. We've had a lot of Central American and South American countries and America in the first few days, and we're starting to see a little more of the European teams come through now as the Classic is underway and a couple of days in. Alejandro Cruz Camillo from Spain, 180 kilos. Wow, he is ready with plenty of energy, it seems.
Let's hope that lasts throughout the whole session and he doesn't fade too quickly.
We saw a lifter yesterday who bounced before every squat, and I'd never seen it before, but perhaps a second time.
I do envy the energy of these sub-juniors.
And that's a very well-executed, tidy opening attempt for Cruz Camillo, but unfortunately, it's a no lift currently, 2-1 on an account of depth. We'll have a look at that in the replay here. This is the side he gets the red from. Could you argue a case for that?
I could argue either way, and I think the jury don't feel too strongly about it to overturn it to a good lift. And I think, particularly with the referees on the platform, the jury doesn't want to undermine their decisions because they are the ones in the chair. So it could have gone either way. I feel like if he had 2 whites, it would have been the same case.
182.5 kilos for Jose Messiel from Mexico. Yeah, very comfortable opener, a good lift, 3 white lights, and we're seeing a lot of good attempt selection from Team Mexico, and probably the biggest team they've ever sent.
Yeah, I don't think I recall seeing too many Mexican teams at other competitions, but of course geographically Costa Rica is easier for them to get to, and also have their family and friends here to support them.
Benjamin Avertoum from Great Britain, 195 kilos on the bar, 7.5 kilos below his best. A lot of these sub-juniors have been competing for a year or less.
Yeah, that looked like a good opener. He did get 1 red for depth on the side that we are sitting on.
Yeah, and we'll catch it again on the replay, but as Brian mentioned, this is the side that gets the white from. Some lifters just not super even in their hip flexibility. Alfie Bonsall now from Great Britain, 197.5 kilos. His last year as a sub-junior, one of the sub-juniors that's been competing for the full 4 years. Yeah, and you can tell with that sort of opener how experienced he is. 3 white lights, and opposed to some of the newer sub-juniors we see where we see them dive bomb, squat as deep as possible, Alfie's really found that sweet spot.
Yeah, absolutely, and like you said, that comes with the experience of competing for the 4 years.
Yeah, not necessarily an age thing, just how long you've had to get on that platform and experience it firsthand. Nathan Vigneron from France with a personal best of 200 kilos, opening at that personal best, and definitely a contender for the overall title. There's a few names in that hat, so it's going to be a tight race all the way until the end for a few lifters. Like I said, it could be 1 of 5 maybe.
Yeah, the top 5 there, their total nominations. It's not the huge spread that we've seen in other classes.
And does still dive bomb and hit that depth, but with incredible amount of weight on his back and successfully.
Yeah. Team France obviously doing very well so far in the classic lifting.
Yeah, and including the French lifter Vigneron we just saw, the following 3 opening attempts are all contenders for that podium and overall. First of which, Emmanuel Tequera from Uruguay, 212.5 kilos. Already opening well above his squat personal best of 208.5.
He's got that control as well, so maybe the extra year's experience is doing him well. He did get 1 read for depth on the side that you will see on the replay.
And I think it's just a case of that black singlet, like you were saying, it's hard to see that hip crease.
Absolutely. I mean, the ref has to call it how they see it. As I've said again, I'll say it probably multiple times in the future. You've got 3 referees and members of the jury for a reason.
We have Diego Cedeno from Ecuador, 215 kilos, and a strong lead on prognosis based off of openers. Let's see how this 215 moves for him. Three white lights, a good lift. And medals seem in danger now. South America and Central America, a little bit more in the talks.
Yeah.
Heaviest opener of the flight, and another big contender, Bo Jun Peng from Chinese Taipei, opening on 225 kilos, 13 kilos below the world sub-junior record, as I mentioned before, with a personal best of 230. Should squats go well for him, he's giving himself a really good shot of a lead.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this first goes before we make any predictions, but we've seen so many records broken already, and we're not very far into this championship at all. It would be cool to see that trend continue.
Strength certainly there. I want to wait for the lights, and 2 to 1, a good lift. I was a little worried about
I
depth.
was worried about depth too, so it'll be interesting to see what the referees say.
I can already see one juror shaking his head, but it's a has to be a unanimous decision. And they are in disagreement. They are, which means it will remain a good lift by the seams of things. And we head into the second round with Ulbar, Cruz Camilo with a squat on the board. Eli Mallet jumping 12.5 kilos to 182.5. Taking a good few moments there to prepare himself mentally.
It looked pretty smooth for a second. Didn't slow down at all, and he's got the 3 white lights.
Yeah, and for a lot of these sub-juniors, one of the bigger battles isn't necessarily just the weight, but it'll be the first time that they're facing out to a big crowd and lifting on this type of stage. So just another hurdle to face, really.
Absolutely, and there are the stage lights as well, which can be off-putting.
Now, 185 for Alejandro Cruz Camillo from Spain, and he's gone up because he is in that fight for the overall title. And there's the bounce again, just needs to squat deeper here.
If his depth was as good as his height, he'd have no problem.
Let's see if those hips are nice and loose from that jump. It's certainly better than the opener. Is it good enough?
Yeah, I definitely think that there was no question with that second one there. Perhaps nerves got in the way of his first attempt in sinking that deep enough.
Yeah, that or he didn't jump high enough first time.
Perhaps. So if he jumps higher on his third, he'll go even deeper on his third.
I think that's the science behind it.
Definitely.
187.5 for Marcos Rodriguez Castro from Spain. 12.5 kilo jump.
I do like the Spanish singlet with the different colours. It makes it easy as a referee to see that hip crease. And that did look very smooth for a second attempt there. And he does have the 3 white lights. I didn't think there was any question there.
Jose Maciel from Mexico, 192.5 kilos. 10 kilo jump from his opener. Yeah, still moving very comfortably. 3 white lights, a good lift.
207.5 on the bar. Followed by Aiken and Gonzo. The bar is loaded. Oh, that's a misload. That's not 207.5 on the bar. That's not 207.5 on the bar.
We have Nathan Vigneron coming out next, just to
Misload.
just a misload there, and a very good catch from the speaker, and they were adamant to carry on, but the speaker fought for the lifter.
It's great to have people who know what they're doing.
Well, it's a very long day for the spotters and loaders. They are doing an excellent job, and you know, it's an easy enough slip up. I'm sure that I would start to make mistakes this far into competition.
100%. And spotting and loading is a tricky job anyway without having the maths aspect on top of it.
But that's why we have so many eyes on the bar, so that if it is missed, any of the referees, jurors, TC, or in this case the speaker, could jump in. 207.5 for Nathan Vigneron from France.
I can't say that plate maths is my strong suit. However, I possibly notice when stuff is misloaded.
Yeah, and I was a little worried with the technique on the opener, especially for one of the front runners. And that could throw a real spanner in the works. He doesn't make up a load of his ground on squat. Really, it's bench and deadlift where he pulls ahead a little bit of his competitors, but it doesn't mean those extra 7.5 kilos or maybe 12.5, which he's probably looking for, would have been helpful. Very, very helpful moving forward, but we'll have to see how it plays out. It's not to say other lifters won't miss. This is powerlifting. Benjamin Avatum now, 210 kilos, a 15 kilo jump from his opener. Must be a 7.5 kilo personal best. Should he make this? And that is a good lift. 3 white lights. What would you add on to that, Briar? I think perhaps a 5 kilo jump seems about right for me.
Yeah, looking at that replay, 5 kilos, perhaps even the 2.5 to be safe. However, we have seen more 5 kilo jumps on squats.
Yeah, like I said, it seems like a lot of coaches hesitant to use that 2.5. Alfie Bonsall from Great Britain, 210 kilos. 12.5 kilo jump, 2.5 kilos of his personal best, and he had a lovely opener.
He did indeed, and he does have that experience as well in that control, so we'll see how it serves him, and it serves him very well by the looks of it.
3 white lights, a good lift, and you can tell every day of experience that he has in the way that he competes. Yeah, just such excellent form as well.
Yeah, no questions there.
The bar is loaded.
Emmanuel Techera now from Uruguay, 225 kilos, 12.5 kilo jump, and moves him into Scott Gold for the time being, with Sedanoa Mpengbo Jan to follow. strong looking second attempt there for Emmanuel. Certainly, I think, reaching towards that top end, but could certainly scrape a few more kilos out for that third should they make smart decisions. Moves into gold for the time being, but looking to move ahead of him, Diego Cedeno from Ecuador, 227.5 kilos. All of these lifters vying for the win, looking to build a big subtotal prior to deadlifts. And there's a good lift. I'll say just about as hard as Takera's second attempt.
238.5 on the bar, 238.5 for Young Peng, followed by Malek and Cruz.
And now our final second attempt and a World Sub Junior record. We thought he might be jumping here either on his second or his third, but feeling confident enough to make that 13.5 kilo jump. We have Bo Jun Peng from Chinese Taipei. Now, he got one red light on his opener, and we know the jury were 2-1 to turn it over to a no lift. Got saved by that third juror. So he's going to want to be careful now to make sure he convinces every referee, and if not that, every juror, or at least one. World Sub Junior record now for Bo Yun Peng, 238.5 kilos. And it looks all right. It's about the same in terms of depth. Yeah, and he gets the exact same light. It's 2-1, a good lift. And we'll look at that in the replay. The jury already arguing. Yeah, again, same argument there. But it looks like it will remain a new sub-junior squat record. And we head into the third round, and that chip will certainly give him an advantage in fighting for the overall.
100%. It'll be interesting to see what he puts in for his third and how he looks to extend that record.
Eli Mallet from Canada now into our third attempts. Everybody on the board. 192.5 kilos. A 10 kilo jump from his second. Similar to his second, spends a good amount of time mentally and physically preparing himself. But just a little too much today. 10 kilos, a big jump from second to third.
Yeah, absolutely, but he did indicate to the spotters quite early on that it wasn't going to go, so he didn't expend too much energy.
Yeah, and if you have the choice to fail, fail quickly. You know, if you definitely know you're not going to get it, don't continue to push through. Risk injury and tanking yourself out for the rest of the 6 attempts. Alejandro Cruz Camillo from Spain, 192.5. Missed on depth on his opener, went up anyway, got it on his second, and springs up nice and high, ready for this third attempt. Quick fail there for Marcos, but a great catch from the spotters. Not there, unfortunately.
The bar is loaded.
Marcos Rodriguez Castro, 195. This will be a big personal best. 7.5 kilo jump. Very well executed third attempt for Rodriguez Castro.
Yeah, and he's got the 3 white lights, so that's 3 spots on the board for the young Spaniard.
Spanish lifters passionate as ever.
Of course, they bring the fire to the platform.
Jose Maciel from Mexico, 200 kilos, 7.5 kilo jump, looking to hit this milestone for the very first time. Looked strong so far today. Doesn't seem like an unreasonable jump. And manages to fight through a good lift, 3 white lights. Hits that milestone, and what a place to do it.
The bar is loaded.
Nathan Vigneron now, certainly not knocked out the fight for overall. It's extremely early days, but missing that second certainly hurt him. He's definitely going to want to get it here in his third, and same as we said before, control is everything here. If he's able to control that squat on the descent a little bit more, I think he'll have a fighting chance of collecting these 7.5 extra kilos and staying up in the fight with Peng, Cedeno and Clara. No, unfortunately not. Yeah, and that might hurt him.
And the bar is loaded.
Just 5 squats remaining. Benjamin Avatum from Great Britain taking that 5 kilo jump. We thought he'd make to 215 for a new personal best. That is the perfect number there, and well executed from Benjamin. 3 white lights, a good lift, a new personal best.
Yeah, I think he can be pretty happy with his squats today. He's got 3 on the board, so he can't ask for more than that.
The bar is loaded.
Alfie Bonsall from Great Britain, 220 kilos. Took a 20 kilo jump here. This will be a 7.5 kilo personal best, and he's just been executing lift after lift so well. First and second, both so clean.
Absolutely. Showing his experience.
And it looks good, 3 white lights, and dare I sound a little greedy, I think he could have gotten a couple extra kilos if he wanted them.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of kilos in there, but I suppose he can make up those kilos come bench and deadlift.
The bar is loaded. Provisional squat silver.
Now to move into squat bronze, then squat silver from bronze, and bronze already secured. Manuel Teixeira from Uruguay, 230 kilos, up in the fight for the overall title. So as I said before, all of these third attempts are so important. No, and it is not there. He still walks away with the bronze squat medal, however. But just if Peng and Cedeno are to get their final attempts, falls a little bit behind in terms of where their prognosis is. A lot to change from here, but I know the coaches will be looking at that, as we are too.
The bar is loaded.
And the bar is loaded for Diego Cedeno from Ecuador, 232.5 kilos. Gold, of course, already belonging to Boyun Peng. Silver belonging to Diego, but looking for those 5 extra kilos in his total, which, as I mentioned before, so important, particularly because on prognosis he is leading.
Absolutely, he doesn't want to lose any kilos if he can avoid it.
Oh, and that is a very well fought 4 squats.
Absolutely, I don't think there was much difference between his first, second, and third squats. I mean, that third one slowed down a little bit more, but nothing egregious.
Squat record. We're going to need the smallest plate for the biggest squat. The bar is loaded.
We now have Boyun Peng from Chinese Taipei, already broke the sub-junior squat record on his second win, 238.5. It's gone up now to 243 kilos, already has the chip, but a few extra kilos certainly wouldn't hurt in his pursuit for a medal overall.
Absolutely. Now, Bojan has had red lights from the same referee for depth and discrepancy with the jury's opinion as well.
Yeah, and if it's not unanimous, it should stand. So, for a world sub-junior record, 243 kilos. No, unfortunately, it's strength that gets him this time. And a no lift. The record stays with him at 238.5, and he keeps the chip heading into bench press. And a quick summary, Emmanuel Teixeira from Uruguay in squat bronze with 225. In silver from Ecuador, Diego Cedeno with 232.5. And with the new world sub-junior record of 238.5 in squat gold from Chinese Taipei, Boyun Peng. We're going to head into a 10-minute break before bench press. We'll see you there. And welcome back to the 2025 IPF World Sub-Junior and Junior Powerlifting Championships here in Costa Rica, San Jose. We have for you the 66 kilo sub-juniors, consisting of a flight of 9, followed by a flight of 10. As it was before, we'll have those competing for the title in the second flight, but lots of good lifting to come and a lot of good things to look forward to, Briar.
Absolutely. We're starting off now with our B flight lifters, bench press. Jundo Adrian Encinas from Argentina with 70 kilos on the bar.
The bar is loaded for Facundo Adrian Encinas.
So the lifter just needs to get the start command before the time runs out, but the lifter's not yet on the platform, and I'm wondering if there was a miscommunication or a mistime.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there. The time has started again.
Yeah, but I still can't see the lifter, and I'm wondering if there's just a mistimed warm-ups or the coaches weren't keeping an eye on the board, which, you know, it can happen as a coach. If you don't keep your eye on the board, time can move very quickly and against you.
Yeah, absolutely. The coaches do have access to the scoreboard in multiple places, both in the warm-up room and in the waiting area. They also have our delightful speaker to listen out for.
Yeah, and just hopefully in the nick of time, doesn't waste any time with super fancy setups. He's getting in and getting it done. If you're going to be late for any attempt, preferably none, but your opener is the one to do it on.
Absolutely, because it should be something you can do with your eyes closed. We're still waiting on a light. It might be a technical difficulty.
Flags, please. Flags.
And we're just waiting for the flags from the referees.
3 white flags.
2 to 1, a good lift. He gets a red from the center referee. And because we can't see the color of it, it's hard to tell, but it could have been for an array of things. If it is a red, it would have been for elbow depth, but jury happy with it, so it doesn't matter for this moment in time.
Absolutely. Coming out now, we've got Minato Uchida from Japan. Oh, there, the lights are back working with 92.5 kilos on the bar. I would say that the bench press is the most technical of the 3 lifts, both in terms of the setup, the movement itself, and the refereeing. There's so many things to look for as a referee. Oh, unfortunately 2 to 1, so no lift there. Yellow could be, as you said, Amelia, an array of things. It tends to be for bench, butt lift or heel lift, and I do see daylight under there, so yeah.
So yeah, as you said, the yellow was for the butt lift, the red was for the elbow depth, and obviously that's not going to get overturned to a good lift, so have to fix that. And he had a tricky start to his squats as well.
He did indeed, yeah. He attempted the same weight the 3 times and only just got it on his 3rd. Coming out now, we've got Daniel Cox from Australia with 100 kilos on the bar.
Good lift.
Yeah, 3 white lights there and a lot of enthusiasm coming off the platform, so he seems happy with that. And of course, being on the board after your first lift is a relief. Now we've got Max Lee from Ireland, also with 100 kilos on the bar.
Bar is loaded.
Comfortable looking opener for Lee, and it is a good lift.
Yeah, and a nice round 100 kilos there. Coming out now, we've got Braulio Zepeda from Mexico with 102.5 kilos on the bar.
Yeah, very close to his best of 105 here in his opener. Spent time getting his shoulders nice and set into the bench. And 2 to 1, a good lift. We'll have a look at that side angle, as we were mentioning before, Brian. When we see yellow from the side, that's usually our first indication of a butt lift. And actually, I think it looks okay. There's some shaking, but contact remains.
Yeah, there was definitely some contact the whole time. Obviously, movement is allowed as long as the contact stays on the bench. Coming out now, we've got Ryland Patterson from New Zealand with 105 kilos on the bar. His personal bench press PB is listed as 115, so perhaps he's looking to extend that today if this opener seems comfortable.
Very wide foot stance there for Ryland. And a very good attempt. About how you'd want your opener to look.
Absolutely. 3 white lights and on the board. And no question about that elbow depth either. His elbows are almost below the bench itself. Coming out now, we've got J. Martin Mendoza from the Philippines with 110 kilos on the board. This is equal to his current bench press PB.
And 2 to 1, a good lift. A yellow from the center referee, which we'll have a look here. I'm wondering if it's for his head being a little too far up the bench. I think he might have jumped the command though. Yeah, it looked very quick off the chest.
Yeah, I didn't see any head lift. The jury is discussing it, but it is hard on the replay because we can't hear the commands.
So I think as a result of that, it should stick.
Out now, we've got Jaden Michaels from Australia with 117.5 kilos on the bar.
I think he might have just jumped that command, yeah.
Walks off a little bit gingerly as well, so I'm wondering if a little bit of discomfort prompted the jump.
Yeah, or he's walking off a little gingerly because, you know, he knows that it's not a mistake he wanted to make on his opening attempt, or really at all.
No, absolutely not. But like you said, the lights, the crowd, everything, even if these lifters have competed dozens of times before, something as simple as following the commands can be disrupted. We've got Victor Labelle now from Canada with 122.5 kilos on the bar. It's just 2.5 kilos under his current PB.
very comfortable and a good lift. 3 white lights. Great execution from Victor Labelle.
Out now we have our Argentinian lifter, Facundo Adrian Encinas, with 77.5 kilos on the bar. For his second attempt, it was a 7.5 kilo jump from his opener. In that opening round, we had 2 lifters not make first attempt, so they'll have to come back and try and get that on their second. Just like in squats, if you don't post an attempt for bench, you can't progress with the competition. You can continue to lift, but you are out of the running for placings.
Ooh, and yeah, 2 yellows from each side, referee, so I imagine we'll have a look at that angle and see some butt lift there, which doesn't bode well. Of course, has an opening attempt in, which is good, but yeah, that's sky high.
Yeah, there was definitely daylight under that one.
The bar is loaded.
Coming out now, we have Minato Uchida from Japan with 92.5 kilos on the bar. He was one of our lifters who did fail his first attempt.
Really wants to make this to try and add some kilos on his third. And there we go, 3 white lights on the board.
That's good. That must be a relief for him, so he can now start collecting those kilos in the bench press event. Coming out now, we've got Daniel Cox from Australia with 107.5 kilos on the bar.
Seven and a half kilo jump and landing him 7.5 kilos of his personal best. So we'll see how this moves and see if he's planning to try and match that or just get shy of it today. And that is a great effort. I think not too much more today, but good to get that.
Absolutely. I'm wondering if we will see a 2.5 kilo next attempt.
He did come off to his coach looking at his wrist though, and I think his wrists were a lot more back rather than stacked than he wanted them to be, and maybe that made a difference, but I think that 2.5 kilo jump is certainly the way to go.
Definitely. Now we've got our Mexican lifter, Braulio Zepeda, with 107.5 kilos on the bar, a 5 kilo jump from his opening attempt. It is quite slow for a second.
I'm wondering if we'll see any yellows. Yeah, and I saw a lot of shifting about. We'll look at that on the replay, but if you can see it from the back angle, then you know you're probably in a bit of trouble.
Yeah. I mean, he did get 1 yellow in his first attempt, but yeah, there was definitely a lift there in his second. Coming out now, we've got Max Lee from Ireland with 107.5 kilos on the bar, another 7.5 kilo jump. Max Lee has his bench press PB listed as 124.5 kilos, so he is quite a way under it, and I'm assuming that is some kind of Irish sub-junior record.
Yeah, and there's a lot we don't know behind the scenes for each individual lifter, including weight cuts, injuries, travel, and it's all worth taking into account. That could be part and parcel, or perhaps that was done in a higher weight class.
Perhaps. Max Lee walking away with 3 whites for his second attempt there with a very technically proficient lift. Next up we have Rylan Patterson from New Zealand with 110 kilos on the bar for his second attempt. His opener looked pretty smooth. He has got 2-1 there with a red on the far side, well, a yellow on the far side, which we will see on this replay here. I did see movement. I'm not sure if it was a complete lift. The jury seemed to be happy with it, so I think Rylan is safe there.
Yeah, one of the few lifters who got a yellow and it wasn't intervened with.
But there was definitely movement, but there was some contact still maintained. It's when you can see daylight through the other side that there is an issue. We've got J. Martin Mendoza now from the Philippines with 115 kilos. A 5 kilo jump from his opener and 5 kilos above his current personal best. It is a big grind for a second.
It is, and I just know that's unfortunately a no lift. There was a lot of downwards movement. A great personal win, but unfortunately personal win will not give you kilos.
No, unfortunately not. I do wonder if he can tighten that up for his third attempt and hopefully not leave those kilos out on the platform. Out now we've got Jaden Michaels, our Australian lifter, 117.5 kilos on the bar. He did miss this on his first attempt, I believe, for butt lift. So hopefully he can stay nice and attached to the bench.
Yeah, potentially a little less leg drive than he's used to assure it. And it looks a little bit better. It's so hard to tell from this angle.
3 white lights, relief and fist bumps for the spotters. Now he can move on collecting kilos in the bench press. The next lifter is our final lifter in this second round of bench. Before we move on to the thirds, it will be Victor LaBelle from Canada with 127.5 kilos on the bar. His current PB is 125, so if he gets this, he'll be pushing that out a little bit.
The bar is loaded.
A final second attempt in this first flight of 66s before heading through to the third and final round, and then the A group to follow. A lot more work there, but still a good speed for a second attempt, and I'd say I'd like to see them use that conservative 2.5.
I would as well. It was effort for the second, and so he wants to be keeping the kilos where he can and not losing them with a bigger jump than he needs to take. Our first lifter in this third round of bench for this first flight will be Facundo Adrian Encinas from Argentina with 77.5 kilos. He did miss this on his second, I believe, for butt lift again.
Yeah, and we'll see the bench press rankings jump around quite a lot, but as a reminder, there are 10 lifters to follow and take all 3 attempts still. So that is certainly subject to change. Wow, managed to get it going after a dead stop there.
Yeah, his hips seem to stay still, and yeah, 3 whites.
Let's look at that again, because the bar really did come to more or less a dead stop, and he managed to get the engines revving again.
Yeah, there we go, and he pushed through it. He has to be happy with that, because I don't think he could have eked out another kilo. Coming out now, we've got our Japanese lifter Minato Uchida with 100 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump from his second, which was a reattempt of his first. I'm hoping that that has been the right call from the Japanese coaching team. And he gets it up, but with 2 to 1, it is not necessarily safe.
Yeah, same issue as before. We'll have a look at that side angle here, and we'll be looking at the butt, and it does look like, to me, it lifts. It's very close. What would you say?
It does. I would say it has lifted. The jury are looking at it, and they have indeed overruled.
Yeah, unfortunately, no lift. The weight, not so much an issue, but as it gets heavier, the lift is going to want to use more leg drive, and if butt lifting is an issue, then it does cause some trouble.
And it's just a practice and experience thing as well. And also training on equipment that does mimic platform equipment, because the bench on the platform isn't necessarily the same as the bench that these lifters use. Out now we've got Braulio Zepeda from Mexico with 107.5 kilos on the bar. Again, retaking his second attempt. And with 3 white lights, he's got it. The bar is loaded now for Daniel Cox, our Australian lifter, 110 kilos, a 2.5 kilo jump, which I think was the sensible decision looking at how his second attempt moved. I'm glad the Australian coaching team have utilised the magic 2.5, and I hope it's the right decision for Daniel.
Yeah, just too much there.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't have taken less than 2.5, so that was the right choice. The bar is loaded now for our Irish lifter, Max Lee, with 110 kilos on the bar. They've also done a nice 2.5 kilo jump.
Yeah, 2.5 kilos, great to utilise, especially in bench press.
Oh, unfortunately not quite there today. 3 yellows there for an incomplete lift, but he seems happy nonetheless. I feel like if you do put your maximum effort into a lift and it's just not there on the day, you can't be too upset with yourself.
Yeah, if it's a strength issue, you know, you're either strong enough or you're not. If you get caught out on something technical, something that's not your fault, it's a much harder pill to swallow.
Absolutely, for sure. We've got Rylan now from New Zealand with 115 kilos on the bar. This will be an equal PB attempt for him.
Did get 1 yellow on his second attempt, so he just wants to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it wasn't looked at too closely by the jury.
Great attempt though there, matching his personal best.
And he does move it, unfortunately, 2 reds there.
Yeah, we'll have a
2
look at
yellows.
the replay. Like you said, he got that yellow from the far side on his second. He was safe there.
I'm still not overly convinced it was a full lift. I might just be being biased, and the jury doesn't seem too offended by that call. So, unfortunately, it will say a no lift for Ryland.
And that's the assumption that both were for butt lift. You know, the side he got from the referee on the second, but it could have been something else from that centre ref. Martin Mendoza now, 115 kilos, retaking this on his third attempt, so just missing it on his second.
Very slow there, but I don't think it had, was it the double movement in his second that was the issue?
Yeah, and it was about just as slow, but this time managed to keep it moving, no downwards movement, which after the grind in his second, I'm impressed he managed to do again.
Yeah, very impressed. That must have taken a lot of effort there to not have that downwards movement. We have 2 lifters left in this flight for bench press before we do move on to the A flight. The next person out will be Jaden Michaels from Australia, 122.5 kilos on the bar. I think quite a sensible jump from the Australian coaching team given the issues he did have on his first attempt.
Yeah, another lifter caught out by butt lift.
And it is a good lift, a great choice by the Australian coaching team. The bar getting loaded now for our final lifter in this flight, Victor Lebel from Canada, 130 kilos on the bar, a 2.5 kilo PB if he gets it.
The bar is loaded.
Two and a half kilo personal best for Victor with this. And one arm at a time, he manages to lock it out. What a fight. 2-1, a good lift. They blew the downwards movement, I think, on that right side. The bar can go up one side at a time as long as it doesn't dip. And is that the case here? I think so. And that concludes that first flight of 66s. We head now into the second group. You can see the standings as they are currently, subject to change as the second flight come through with their attempts. And we're straight into it. And you see the running order as it stands, and I don't think any of those third attempts in that first group will be enough for a medal, looking at these opening attempts in the second group, but we'll see how they fare. Benjamin Avertoom from Great Britain, 115 kilos, opening on his personal best.
We've got some quite big openers here in this A flight. It's 3 whites and it's a good lift for Benjamin. He's on the board there.
The bar is loaded.
Alfie Bonso from Great Britain, coming out 120 kilos. And 3 white lights, a good lift.
120 kilos on the bar for Emmanuel Teixeira or Valdez and Rodriguez. The bar is loaded.
Manuel Teixeira from Uruguay. 126 is his current personal best, opening at 120 kilos here. Like we said, big contender for that overall title. Team France fell a little bit behind in squats.
Yeah, that was a nice smooth opener from Emmanuel.
The bar is loaded.
Marcos Rodriguez Castro from Spain with a personal best of 129.5, opening here with 120 kilos. And he's just walking back there because you need to have your wrist straps on before you pass the technical officer. The only thing you can adjust in terms of equipment on the platform is your belt. So he got them done nice and quickly, although the clock hasn't started, and that's not the fault of the lifter. And so therefore he's in a rare position where he might run out of time. Full speed. 2-1, a good lift. A yellow from the center referee. We'll have a look at that on the replay, and if we can't catch anything with our eye, it will be for a skipped command, most likely. And I think we've had a mishap. I think Canada, Eli Millet was supposed to go after Spain and before Teixeira, but he hasn't come out yet. So we're just getting that sorted now. There seemed to be an issue with the table. So in the meantime, I'm just going to discuss the prognosis as it stands. If you're looking at the prognosis overall, Sedena is looking extremely strong, and it is a lot subject to change here as benches and deadlifts come through, but Sedena and Teixeira there at the top. We of course also have Bo Yun Peng, who's fighting for that overall title,
120 kilos on the bar.
and Team France a little further away now, but still going to be pushing. There's still six lifts left to go, so there's plenty to fight for, but as it stands, there are certainly a top 3 emerging. I definitely would never count out Team France. And you can see here we're just going back, which is quite unusual. I think normally what would happen is he would go to the end of the flight, but because it's a bit of a tricky situation, I think they're just reloading to 120, which messes up the order a little bit, but it's important that Eli gets that opening attempt in. So 120 now for Eli Millet. Probably a little bit more stressful start to bench press than he wanted. seems very unfazed though. Good lift, 3 white lights.
Yeah, that little mishap there with the misload didn't seem to affect him so much, which is quite good. But I suppose if you've got a lift that you know you can do, then things like that shouldn't throw them off too much.
Bo Yun Peng from Chinese Taipei. Personal best of 130 kilos, opening on 125. And very much a contender overall. Doesn't have an advantage over Sedeno in deadlifts or Kachera, so really trying to build as big a subtotal as possible.
It did look pretty smooth there for an opener, and he's got 3 whites, which he is happy with.
Next out for their opening attempt, Jose Maciel from Mexico. 127.5 on the bar. Well, unfortunately, 2-1, a no lift for Maciel. A depth call from the left side referee and yellow from the right. If we get the side angle there in the replay, we'd be able to try and... Yeah, it looks like there was, unfortunately, some lifting. And not convincing enough for the jury to want to overturn it. He's going to have to give that another go on his second. Nathan Vigneron now from France really wants to make up some ground after only getting 1 squat in on the board. 130 kilos for his opening attempt, and already this catapults him into bench press gold, still with Cruz and Sedeno to follow.
And he does exhibit that control of a more experienced lifter. 3 white lights on the board, and Team France and the French audience are very pleased.
We now have Alejandro Cruz Camilo from Spain, 132.5. Opening 7.5 kilos below his personal best. Just giving some love to the spotters and loaders. Three white lights, a good lift. Bench on the board.
Yeah, you can't be unhappy with that, and his bench depth was incredible. Look how far his elbows go down.
Yeah, I can only imagine he's got a pretty decent deadlift on him. And our final opening attempt, Diego Sedeno from Ecuador, on prognosis, in a great position, looking to take the overall win. 140 kilos for his opening attempt, and this would really build a big subtotal for him heading into that deadlift. He's not going uncontested, but as it stands, building a really good chance to take that world title. Wow.
Yeah, no questions there. A great opener, as you would expect.
Already with that bench opener and his deadlift opener, gives him a 592.5 total, with 4 attempts on top of those 2, should the deadlift opener be successful. Benjamin Avatum now, as we head into the second round of bench press. Ulbar Maciel getting a bench in on the board. 5 kilo jump for Benjamin to 120 kilos, a new personal best should he make this. I'm wondering if he clipped the rack a little bit there. A good lift, 3 white lights, so have a look at that in the replay. But still moving in a relatively good speed. Yeah, he just clips it on the left-hand side, which knocked him off a little bit, but did well not to get any infractions there as a result.
Yeah, exactly. With clipping the rack, you can only receive a yellow if it looks to be helping your lift. And of course, if it knocks it too far off course, you will get that double movement and that blue light.
127.5 kilos for Alfie Bonsil from Great Britain. This would match his personal best. You can see athletes rubbing their feet on the carpet before they compete. Not a ritual as much as just trying to make sure they can find a grippy position for that leg drive. Yeah, and still very comfortable. 2 to 1, a good lift. We'll have a look at that side angle. He gets the yellow, which, as we've seen, a few butt lifts. And as a jury member, what do you say? Yeah, and they've overruled, unfortunately.
Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to take breath there before the jury overruled that. Unfortunately, yeah, there was that daylight there. Hopefully he can come back and stick his butt to the bench and continue to collect kilos in this event.
Manuel Teixeira, 127.5, and it is still so comfortable. That is 1.5 kilo personal best as well. Like we said, he's fighting for that world title, so it is very promising to see a second attempt move like that.
The bar is loaded.
Less trouble this time round for Eli Mallet from Canada, doing a 7.5 kilo jump to 127.5. This will be a 2.5 kilo personal best. The Canadian lifter, should he make this?
And that did look very smooth for a second attempt. And he gets rewarded with his 3 white lights, with plenty more gas in the tank, I think.
The bar is loaded.
Marcos Rodriguez Castro, 127.5 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump, landing him just 2 kilos below his personal best.
Oh my goodness, blink and you miss it. It was 2-1 though, so, and that one yellow light comes from the centre referee.
And maybe that's why it felt so fast if he did skip a command. But it looks like he held both positions.
Yeah. Perhaps it was for his head coming off the bench, which is something that the centre ref can usually only be the one referee who can see that.
Jose Maciel now. Our lifter who is yet to get a bench in on the board. I think he would be trying to fight for a bench press medal, which is why he's made the decision to go up to 130 after missing that opening attempt, if I'm not mistaken, for his butt lifting off. So hopefully he can keep it down this time.
That did seem a lot more controlled and smoother than his first, and yeah, he gets the 3 white lights, so maybe it is that 2.5 kilos he needed to be set on the bench.
The bar is loaded.
Bo Yun Peng, 132.5 kilos, 7.5 kilo jump, moves him into bench press bronze for the time being, with Vigneron, Cruz and Cedeno to follow. Of course, just in our second round now, Bo Yun Peng looking to build that big subtotal, fight for podium.
Oh dear, I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but it is very clearly a no lift for our Chinese Taipei lifter.
Yeah, it seemed like he lost his line a little bit off the chest, just maybe a smidge heavy as well. You see tipping back towards his face, and really hard to correct that line once you're on that trajectory. Like you said, you're not going to want to miss lift if you're in that tight race. And does that potentially open things up for Nathan Vigneron? We'll see how it pans out. 137.5 for Nathan to move into bench press silver for the time being, to get those extra 7.5 kilos on his total.
Pretty slow and steady for a second there, and he gets the 3 white lights. Wonder what kind of jump he's going to take for his third to keep collecting kilos for that podium race.
Our penultimate second attempt now, Alejandro Cruz Camillo from Spain. Looking to move back into bench press silver. Gold more or less secured with Cedeno, but extra 5 kilos on his total heading into that third round. 2.5 kilos off his best ever bench. Cedeno, and that is a worrying sight to see on his second attempt. To have a look again here.
Yeah, I do wonder if he thought he heard the press command and went to take it and then realised he hadn't and brought it back down.
I think he pressed after the command, if I'm being honest. I hope I'm wrong, but it looked like he just bailed off of the chest. Which, I mean, is a good sign for the lifters he's against in the battle for bench, but not such a good sign for him.
No, I do think the strength is there, just if he holds that tightness on the chest for as long as the centre referee sees fit.
Diego Cedeno now, 145, having the meet of a lifetime so far, and if it continues for him, he could be walking away with the world title. His competitors are starting to miss. Can he keep making attempts? Looks like it.
Yeah, Cedeno, another one of these Central and South American lifters, making up quite a large chunk of this championship, just geographically easier for them to get to, and definitely holding their own.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming in at full force. And we can see the bench standings as they are currently. Cedeno leading with 145. That is bench gold secured. Vineron in 137.5 in silver, and with 132.5, Cruz Camilo of Spain. But now to our third round of bench press, where that could change. Benjamin Overtoom from Great Britain, 125 on the bar for a new personal best. A great final attempt there from Benjamin.
Still waiting on lights. Our right side referee is aggressively waving a white flag, and then the lights come up. 3 whites there.
Alfie Bonsell now missed 127.5, went up to 130 for a new personal best. And it wants to keep within reaching distance of the podium should any of those big 3 or 4 make any big blunders. Not a million miles away from Vineron.
Looks pretty speedy for a third attempt there, and he has the 3 white lights rewarded for his hard work.
The bar is loaded.
Now, Boyun Peng from Chinese Taipei has the chip from the squat, but is going to want to keep making attempts from here. 132.5 to retake it. If not, Cedeno and Teixeira really start to peel away from the rest of the group in terms of gold and silver overall.
Nice and controlled to his chest there. And a lot of aggression at lockout. Unfortunately, though, still 2-1 there. Yellows from both side referees, so I'm wondering if we will see on the live stream the infraction. And looking at that, that's pretty clear to me. The Chinese Taipei coach coming over to double check and being sent away before he even reaches the jury table.
Yeah, and as a coach, you know, it's your duty to try in the best interest of the lister, but sometimes it's, you know, a hopeless task.
Absolutely.
Emmanuel Teixeira now from Uruguay, 132.5 kilos, and if he gets this, him and Cedeno, as I said, really starting to peel away from the rest of the group.
3 white lights incomplete, 172.5 space on the bar for Eli.
3 white lights, a good lift for Teixeira there, and not quite enough for bench podium. Some big benches in this flight. Eli Mallet from Canada taking a 5 kilo jump to 132.5. This will be for a new personal best. Just shows the strength of this A group. This is bigger than any of the benches from the B group before, and it's not quite good enough for the bench podium.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not unheard of to see people from the B group on the podium, but it is unlikely. However, it does give those B group lifters room to grow and something to aim for.
No, just a bit too much for Eli.
There is a no lift, 132.5 on the bar for Marcos Rodriguez Castro, followed by Cruz and Viña.
There's 5 benches remaining.
The bar is loaded.
Marcos Rodriguez Castro, 132.5 kilos. 5 kilo jump for a new personal best. And he had me a little worried with the drop onto the chest. Yeah, unfortunately, I think there was butt lift there. We'll have a look from the side angle.
There was just so much velocity with that bar on the chest.
Actually, it looks like it stayed in contact to me.
Yeah, I mean, there was movement for sure, but it's hard not to when you drop that kind of weight down onto yourself.
The jury aren't looking to overrule it, and the coach hasn't gone, which I think could be a mistake by the coaching team, because if I were them, it could have been overruled if the argument was there.
Yeah, for sure.
Alejandro Cruz Camilo from Spain, 137.5 to move from bench press bronze into silver for the time being, with Vigneron, Maciel and Cedeno to follow.
Is a grind, but he does manage to lock it out.
3 white lights, a good lift, and moves into that bench position of silver for the time being. As I said, 3 lifters to follow. 2 who could take that from him. First of which is French lifter Nathan Vigneron, looking to move into bench press silver from bronze, looking to knock Cruz Camillo down to bronze for the time being. It's a 2.5 kilo jump from that second, so the smallest jump he could make without it being a record. Great selection from Team France. After missing some kilos out on squat, they weren't looking to do the same here on bench.
Yeah, absolutely, and he seems pleased with that, as does Team France at the moment. We do only have 2 more bench attempts left for this session.
First up, Jose Maciel from Mexico. missed his opening attempt of 127.5, chose to go up 2.5 kilos anyway. We knew he was here really to collect a bench medal if he could. He's now jumped 10 kilos, which would be a 7 kilo personal best, looking for a bench press silver. And that would secure the silver for him. No one could take it away after this. So all or nothing. If he doesn't get this, he won't get a medal. And 10
Very
kilos,
long press
just
command.
yeah, 10 kilos just a little too much. But he's in good spirits. Let's have a look at that in the replay. You mentioned there's a pretty long press command.
It is up to the centre referee to decide when the bar is settled on the chest to give it. And I think, although it was long, it was not incorrect by the centre referee to have done that.
Yeah, it has to be when the centre referee is happy the bar is controlled and stationary on the chest. And our final bench press, he's having an absolutely cracking day so far. Diego Cedeno from Ecuador, really putting his best foot forward in the competition. 150 kilos, has 145 currently. And on prognosis, if he gets this, will be 10 kilos ahead. Teixeira, who is in silver. And if he misses, just 5 kilos, which is a lot easier to catch. He's going to want this. Yeah, and again, executed excellently. 3 white lights.
Yeah, great attempt selection there for his third. I don't think Team Ecuador has left any kilos on the platform as yet.
No, and that's how it's going to have to be if he wants that title. They've done a great job of balancing where's his limit and where's too far, whereas some other teams have started to make misses. Of course, Cedeno takes bench gold in silver, Vinaron, and in bronze, Cruz Camilo. We're going to see the conclusion of this class very soon, so join us back in 10 minutes for the deadlifts. Hello and welcome back to the 2025 IPF World Sub-Junior and Junior Powerlifting Championships here in San Jose, Costa Rica. We have the 66 kilo sub-junior men for you this afternoon, and we are at the conclusion here on the final discipline of the day, the deadlifts. And we can see the running order for the first group as it stands, and we count ourselves in with openers all the way up to 240. Just a reminder, deadlift and overall medals won't be concluded until we see both flights lift.
And our first lifter from this first flight is Max Lee from Ireland with 175 kilos on the bar. And that was super snappy as an opener. I wonder if it was a conservative attempt to get numbers on the board, but he has a total regardless, which is fantastic and what you need to place. Next up we have our Japanese lifter. The bar is being loaded to 190 kilos for Minato Uchida.
He's had a bit of a bumpy start to both disciplines so far, and I'm hoping deadlift is different for him.
Yeah, he did have a bit of a rocky time with both squats and bench. That looked quite smooth for an opener, and he did get the 3 white lights. Our next lifter out is Jaden Michaels from Australia with 195 kilos on the bar.
Each of these lifters looking to secure their total, ideally with their opening attempt. And that looked extremely comfortable for Jaden Michaels.
So the same weight will be staying on the bar for our next lifter. J. Martin Mendoza from the Philippines will also be taking 195 kilos for his opener. That did look pretty solid, and he did get the 3 white lights. Bar is being loaded now to 207.5 kilos for Rylan Patterson of New Zealand, and his first deadlift attempt. The bar is being brushed. The coaches can request the bar to be clean between attempts, but it is up to the chief referee as to whether they oblige that request or not.
The bar is loaded.
So this is just 7.5 kilos off Patterson's personal best, and 2.5 kilos off his best total should he get this. Comfortable looking opener for Rylan. 3 white lights, a good lift. Pretty narrow grip there.
Yeah, he looks to be holding on to the smooth part of the bar as opposed to the knurling.
More than anything, that worries me sometimes that lifters will struggle to get their shoulders back, but
Yeah, that's a
looks
very
okay.
valid fear, but I think Rylan seems to be okay. Our next lifter out is Victor Lebel from Canada with 210 kilos on the bar, and he's adjusted his belt, but his mouth guard still seems to be flapping around on his shoulder there.
I was about to say, there we go, remembered just in time. I think probably went to brace and felt something missing.
And it's a good lift for Victor. 210 kilos is actually staying on the bar for our next lifter, Facundo Adrian Encinas from Argentina.
Opening on his personal best here, so hoping this is more than comfortable for him. Already would give him a 12.5 kilo total PB as well.
Yeah, and a good opener. He's on the board there. We've got 2 lifters left in this first round of deadlifts here for this B flight. Our next lifter coming out will be our Australian Daniel Cox. He will be attempting 222.5 kilos for his opener.
The bar is loaded.
Calms himself before he walks to the bar. Takes
Yeah.
a moment to let himself settle.
I do enjoy watching various deadlift setups and how people prepare themselves to pull the bar.
A little segmented, but it's still a smooth looking opener there for Cox.
Absolutely, and he does get those 3 white lights.
Yeah, we've certainly seen an array of deadlift setups over the years.
Some end up becoming quite iconic as well, and you know that if a certain lifter is coming out that you're going to get a particular routine before they pull the bar, but it is what helps them get into the right headset and physically primed to be pulling the bar. We do have one lifter lift in this flight for first attempts, and it's Braulio Zepeda from Mexico, and he will be opening on 240 kilograms.
Yeah, and the record's at 270, so we spoke about individuals medaling from the B group, and this could be a prime example of not just that, but if this is good, maybe pushing for that sub-junior record.
Yeah, and we have seen some outstanding deadlifts from sub-juniors so far this championship, so maybe Braulio's looking to add his name to the list.
He's opening on his best, so I certainly hope that is the case. Wow.
Yeah, no questions there. He almost lost his glasses on the way down. Unfortunately, he did get a red light from the side referee here. It is a blue light, so blue for deadlifts can be for double movement or supporting the bar on the thighs. I'm not sure I saw either of those for that attempt, Amelia.
No, but we, like we said, it's sometimes what the referee has to see in the moment, and that's why we have the replay and the jury, and jury seem happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps if it gets heavier, it will become more apparent if there is an infraction there. Minato Uchida is now coming out for his second attempt. He will be taking 200 kilos, which is a 10 kilo jump on his opener. We're hoping for smoother deadlifts to finish his day off on a high.
Yeah, solid looking second attempt there for Uchida. And a good lift, 3 white lights. Certainly is moving smoother for him than the other disciplines were.
Yeah, and that's good. Finishing on a high, finishing something nice and strong is probably a good way to go. Our next lifter out is going to be Max Lee from Ireland, also taking 200 kilos on the bar. Max with a 25 kilo jump, but I think if I remember correctly, his opener was very speedy. Yeah, 25 kilos was definitely doable. However, the jump from second to third may need to be a little bit smaller there. That deadlift was a little bit segmented, but he got it up and he held it nonetheless.
Yeah, and there's a lot of variables that go into it. You know, what is the lifter used to in training in terms of jumps? Some lifters do train with much smaller jumps as well, but I do agree you certainly want to take slightly smaller risk on second to third potentially.
The bar is loaded.
Now our Australian lifter, Jaden Michaels, coming out to take 210 kilos. This is a 15 kilo jump from his second attempt.
Yeah, still plenty of room to go there into his third. 3 white lights.
Stay on the bar for J. Martin Mendoza. The bar is loaded.
210 will be staying on the bar for our next lifter, J. Martin Mendoza of Philippines.
Just 2.5 kilos below Mendoza's personal best here in his second attempt.
Very slow to lock out, but he does get the 3 white lights. Again, I think a smaller jump to his third will be the order of the day there for a Filipino lifter. Next up we have Facundo Adrian Encinas from Argentina with 212.5 on the bar.
The bar is loaded.
Yeah, a very small jump here for Encinas, 2.5 kilos. And whether that's because they timed out of their attempt selection, you only get a minute, or whether this is their chosen jump, I think how it moves will be very telling for that. If it moves well, I expect they timed out. If poorly, then they feel he's at the end of his limit. And
I think that could be either way there.
yeah, I don't think many questions have actually been answered after
No.
that. I think what will answer further questions is probably the jump they take now.
Yeah, absolutely. He did get the 3 white lights, so it's a good lift regardless, and he's got an extra 2.5 kilos there on his total.
Yeah, and they've jumped 20 kilos from that, so I think they just timed out, I imagine.
Up now we've got Rylan Patterson from New Zealand with 220 kilos on the bar. The coach is giving instructions on how he wants the bar to be cleaned. I believe it is due to Rylan's narrow grip, as he will be holding on to the smooth part of the bar as opposed to the knurling, and wiping the talc off the bar will give him the best chance of holding on to it.
And the bar is loaded.
Team New Zealand out in force. I'm not sure if you can hear that on the live stream.
I'd be surprised if they couldn't. They are roaring. 220 for Rylan, 12.5 kilo jump.
and he does manage to pull it to the top there, and he gets the 3 white lights.
Yeah, and if that's Ryland's way of lifting, I imagine that he's pretty confident in it and has had success with it. Three more second attempts in this round before the final round of Group B.
Out now we have Victor Lebel from Canada taking 222.5 kilos for his second attempt, which is a 12.5 kilo jump from his first attempt.
Be a big personal best for Victor on total and on deadlift, already on his second attempt.
He did have to be a little bit patient there off the floor, but that tends to be the case with sumo pullers, and he gets rewarded with his 3 white lights.
Yeah, and you saw he started to shake during that, so an indicator perhaps that he's getting more towards that top end.
Our next lifter out will be Daniel Cox from Australia. He has 235 kilos loaded for his second attempt, which is a 12.5 kilo jump from his first. We have one more second attempt after Daniel, and then we'll be moving on to thirds. Third deadlifts are always exciting. However, considering there is the A flight still to come, we perhaps might not see the third attempt changes and the numbers games that you would expect in an A flight when there are medals and podium finishes at stake.
Tough looking second, and I think he just didn't get that down command.
No, he didn't. He tipped back quite far with the effort to lock that out. I do wonder if he will be able to come back and pull it on his third. We do have one more second attempt here, Braulio Zepeda with 247.5 kilos on the bar. As you pointed out, he is close to the World Sub-Junior record of 270, but he did only take a 7.5 kilo jump from his first, so that might not be perhaps what we see from Braulio today. However, we don't know what the A flight's going to look like and whether he will still be a medal contender. He's very composed on the platform.
Unfortunately, just seems like eludes him down to his grip. And disappointment on the face of the coach and the athlete. Have a look at this, just seems to spring out of his hand, and once your grip goes, there's no way of getting that back into your hand. Looks like he pulls hook grip as well.
Yeah, so his thumbs might have just slipped out from his fingers there. I don't know whether more chalk would be the answer, but he will have another attempt at that 247.5 or higher should he choose to in his third attempt. We are coming into third attempts now, opening with Minato Uchida from Japan. 205 kilos on the bar for a 5 kilo deadlift PB should he achieve it. We are hoping for a more successful round of deadlifts for the Japanese lifter, and the Japanese team are fully in support of Minato for his third.
Great final pull from Uchida.
Yeah. Oh, he does get one red from the side for lockout there.
Let's have a look at the side on the replay that he gets that for. Yeah, red would be for insufficient lockout, so that referee just not happy with his finishing position. But I think he's pretty much locked out on all the points you want him to be.
Yeah, as a referee, I would say that he is locked out. I find issues with lockout tend to come more so from the mixed grip lifters in sumo because it rolls their shoulder forward. Our next lifter out for their third attempt will be J. Martin Mendoza with 215 kilos on the bar. Just a 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt there. And I think he's had a day that he can be pretty happy with.
Yeah, absolutely. This would extend his total and deadlift PB. But just a little too much for today.
Yeah, unfortunately. Our next lifter out will be Jaden Michaels from Australia with 220 kilos loaded on the bar. Should he pull this, that will be a 5 kilo deadlift PB for Jaden.
Yeah, we're looking at just 7 deadlifts remaining in this first flight before we head through to the A group of 66s to follow.
It does seem to be spot on the money with the attempts there. We'll see what the refs say. A little bit of anticipation there. 3 white lights, and he does seem very happy with that.
Yeah, certainly slowed down the momentum of celebration a little bit there.
A delayed celebration is better than no celebration at all.
Absolutely.
The next lifter out will be Max Lee from Ireland with 220 kilos on the bar. His current deadlift PB is 219, so he'll be looking to extend that.
The bar is loaded. Relax.
Even just with a few Irish supporters in the crowd, you can always hear them.
You can indeed.
And it's just too much for Max today, unfortunately. It was another 20 kilo jump, so the spread from first to last was 45 kilos, and it might have just been too much of an ask for him.
Yeah, perhaps. Or perhaps someone turned the gravity up on the platform. Our next lifter out will be Ryland Patterson from New Zealand with 225 kilos on the bar. Hopefully the coach's instructions have been understood slightly more clearly. Again, just getting the talc off that smooth part of the bar, as that is where Ryland's preferred grip is. Of course, should the chief referee choose to not oblige, then that's up to them. It is third attempts though, so brushing it off is the standard. However, the wiping is a little bit of an extra.
Yeah, I mean, you're there already brushing. I don't think a little extra wipe would do anyone harm.
Team New Zealand out in force.
A new personal best on total and in deadlift for Ryland Patterson. That's a fantastic final pull for Patterson.
Yeah, indeed. And he gets 3 white lights and a deadlift PB. He cannot be unhappy with that. His coach seems stoked.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And grip seems fine. Position didn't seem a problem.
And if it works, it works. The bar is loaded now for Victor LaBelle of Canada, 230 kilos. Should he get this, this is a 7.5 kilo deadlift PB.
Yeah, also pretty big extension of his total personal best as well.
Unfortunately, just not there today for Victor. Our next lifter out will be Facundo Adrian Encinas from Argentina. He will have 232.5 kilos loaded on the bar. This is a 20 kilo jump up from his second attempt. We believe he timed out between his first and second with the 2.5, so maybe he is looking to make up ground with the slightly bigger jump.
Yeah, that seems about right. I think it was hard to tell from the execution of 212.5, but we could tell by the jump. And 20 kilos is a big jump considering we expected a slightly smaller one from second to third. Considering we were unsure whether it was a mistake or not to jump 2.5 kilos, but perhaps his deadlifts just move until they don't, and they all look the same. Wow, and that does seem to be the case.
Yeah, wonderful. He seems stoked with that.
And I've got to say, I didn't think the 20 kilo jump was a particularly smart move until I saw it get it moving.
Our next lifter out, and our second to last lifter in this flight of deadlifts actually, will be Daniel Cox from Australia with 235 kilos on the bar. He is retaking his second attempt.
Yeah. This won't be for a personal best, but finishes the day on the high for him. Just not there today.
No, unfortunately not. But as we've said before, there's so many different factors at play when athletes are competing on the world stage, whether that be travel, change of diet, change of schedule, could be any manner of things happening there. However, he did place a total, and you can't be too upset with that. Our final lifter in this flight is Braulio Zepeda from Mexico with 247.5 kilos on the bar. This was his second attempt as well.
The bar is loaded.
If he gets this, he could potentially still be in a shot for a medal on deadlifts. We'll have to wait and see how the next flight unfolds, but lost it on grip on his second attempt. So let's see if he can hold on to that bar and finish the job here.
Has he switched his grip around?
Yeah, it looks like he has, but did he hold on to it long enough this time? No, unfortunately not.
It did move better. However, it was not enough to please the referees. Perhaps a learning curve, but it is good when lifters can switch between hook grip and mixed grip should they need to.
And that concludes the first flight with 66s. The results as they stand, Zabeda leading with that 240, followed by Encinas and Patterson, but that is subject to change as we head into the main flight now, where we'll see them fight for medals on deadlift and overall. And with a look at these openers, I don't think that 240 will be quite enough for a deadlift medal, but we'll see how the cards play out.
Yeah, we do have a couple of openers there at 230 and above. So 240 looks to be in danger.
Absolutely, and Team France having up their opener, definitely back in the conversation for overall. 195 for Jose Maciel from Mexico. And that is a good lift, 3 white lights.
The bar is loaded.
We have Bo Yun Peng from Chinese Taipei, 210 kilos. And with a few changes in openers, gaps starting to form amongst those at the front. Peng a little far behind on prognosis, but we'll see how this moves and the jumps everyone makes.
Of course, Peng with a new squat record. He'll be needing to make a total to hold on to that.
Yeah, and does so with considerable ease. It's a good lift. .220 kilos of Benjamin Avatum from Great Britain. A personal best of 246.
Oh my goodness, blink and you miss it. What a snappy opener.
Yeah, wasted no time whatsoever. A real grip and rip deadlift.
Took the words right out of my mouth. We'll see if that speed maintains throughout his second and third attempts.
220 kilos remains on the bar for the next 3 lifters. First of which, Alfie Bonsall from Great Britain. Personal best of 235.
Alfie nailing that with, again, great speed. And I was going to say, one of the most experienced lifters in the class. A red light there from the centre referee, but the jury does not seem to be too concerned by it.
Yeah, I assume that yellow would be the centre referee not happy that he met the down command, but should be fine there. Diego Cedeno from Ecuador, still on prognosis, leading 220 kilos. Personal best of 236. And that is extremely comfortable. He's having a great day, good lift, and he's not giving up that first place without a fight. And the bounce is back for Alejandro Cruz Camilo from Spain. 220. Let's hope his Deadlift opener is just as snappy as that jump.
I think he exercised quite a bit of control there with that opening deadlift, and he gets 3 white lights.
Next out for the opening attempt, we have Eli Mallet from Canada, 225 kilos on the bar. In potential contention for a deadlift medal.
Nice and snappy there. 3 whites and his good lift. He's on the board there.
Marcos Rodriguez Castro now, the personal best of 252.5, opening on 230 kilos. Good lift, 3 white lights, and with war paint on his face, ready for his second and third attempt.
Absolutely, especially with that speed.
Manuel Teixeira now from Uruguay, 235 kilos. Very much in that fight for those podium positions.
Just waiting on that centre referee's light.
And 2-1, a good lift. Centre referee not quite happy with the lockout position. Let's have a look at that here from that angle. Looks good to me.
It does look good to me, and also the centre referee is in charge of giving the down command when they are happy with the lockout. So as a centre referee, you'd want to give them a little bit more time to see if they can extend it further.
We now have Nathan Vigneron from France, our heaviest opener of the flight, 15 kilos below the world record, upped his opener, back in contention for overall and the podium.
Yeah, seeing how this moves, we could be able to make a prediction on whether we will see a new world record today. What do you think after that? He does have 3 white lights.
Yeah, I imagine they'll go somewhere in between for their second, if they're smart, and then push what they need for their third. It wasn't the easiest opener in the world, but you know, lifters can grind a little easier in conventional than they can otherwise. And with that, all of these 10 lifters are on the board with the deadlift in, total secured. Vigneron leading with 255. Zepeda still from the B group with 240, and Teixeira with 235 as we head into the second round of deadlifts. Kicking us off, Jose Maciel from Mexico, taking a 15 kilo jump to 210. And that is a good lift, 3 white lights. Bo Yun Peng now taking a 12.5 kilo jump to 222.5, and now falling a little bit behind the rest of those top contenders. Does still have the chip, but the hill is quite high to climb. And 2-1, a good lift. The far side referee not quite happy with that finishing position. Let's have a look at that again in the replay.
I'm not 100% sure I would have given a red light for that. I think that lockout looked pretty convincing, but it is very easy to make refs calls from over here in the safety of the commentary box.
Alejandro Cruz Camilo taking a 10 kilo jump to 230 for his second attempt. 10 kilos off his best. Very smooth second.
Yeah, smooth. He did slow down a tad, but there was no breakdown in form and no risk, I think, of that not being a lift.
The bar is loaded. No.
Diego Cedeno from Ecuador doesn't have the deadlift advantage ahead of his competitors, but as it stands, still in the lead in this second round, should all his competitors and himself make their second attempt. 12.5 kilo jump, 232.5.
That looked pretty tidy there for his second as well, and he gets 3 white lights.
Yeah, bodes very well for him, but Vineron and Teixeira still right on his tail. Alfie Bonsell from Great Britain taking a 17.5 kilo jump and looking to build as big a total as possible to capitalize if any of those lifters ahead of him are to slip up. He'll take him into 4th overall for the time being. And it's still extremely comfortable.
Yeah, that was a very good second attempt there from Alfie.
The bar is loaded.
Benjamin Abatum from Great Britain taking a 20 kilo jump to 240, 6 kilos off his best deadlift. Takes him into deadlift bronze for the time being, still with 4 lifters to take their second attempts afterwards. Slowed down marginally, but still looking really strong.
Yeah, there was no question there that he was going to pull that.
The bar is loaded.
240 kilos remains in the bar for Eli Mallet from Canada. Moves him into deadlift bronze for the time being. Again, still 3 lifters to follow in their second attempts. And 2-1, a good lift. The far side referee still not quite happy with that lockout. Let's have a look at the replay because they've clicked that a few times and I'm not necessarily sure I've agreed with it any of the times.
Yeah, I would say that's fine. I mean, he wouldn't want to be any further forward, particularly with his shoulders, but I think it looks fine. And the jury doesn't seem too fazed by it either.
We now have Marcos Rodriguez Castro taking a 17.5 kilo jump to his second attempt. Moves him to deadlift silver for the time being. Very sturdy looking second.
Yeah, and that war paint is obviously serving him well.
We have Emmanuel Teixeira from Uruguay, 255 kilos, a 20 kilo jump from his opener. This moves him into deadlift gold for the time being and silver overall with Vigneron to follow. Oh, and it is so clean. 2-1, still getting reds from that side referee.
Yeah.
I think he should be safe based on all of the other lifters who've got that red. Yeah, and I think he should be fine with that. And our final second attempt. We wondered if he would go straight for it or climb his way there on his third. But that answers our question. Nathan Vigneron from France is going for the World Sub-Junior deadlift record here on his second attempt. It is a 15.5 kilo jump. That's how he fares with this. It will move him into deadlift gold, of course, and keep him in bronze overall. Still a little way to go to beat that. But for now, Nathan Vigneron from France, 270.5 for a new World Sub-Junior record. Let's see how this moves for him. Must be feeling confident taking it here in a second. Oh, and he breaks the floor, manages to lock it out. And that is a good lift and a new sub-junior record, 3 white lights. Question is now, does he have enough to match the jump and extend that further that Cedeno and Teixeira have?
Yes, that was very impressive from a second attempt. It was slow, but it was steady as well.
And now we head into the third and final round of deadlifts. And this is how we are sitting currently. Cedeno leading with 615, 2.5 kilos behind Teixeira, and just 2 kilos behind him, Vigneron. Podium as it stands looking pretty set, but the order not so much. Let's see how it lands after these final attempts. Jose Maciel from Mexico, 227.5 for his final pull of the day for a total and deadlift PB. No lift, unfortunately, for Jose Maciel.
Yeah, reaching his top end there on the platform.
And now Bo Yun Peng, 230 kilos, now out of the race for the podium overall. This would give him a 593.5 total if he's to get this, a big extension of his current PB on deadlift and on total here if he gets this 230 kilos. Just taking time to get settled and 100% prepared to take this final weight, a weight he has never lifted before on the platform. Oh wow, and it is still so snappy.
Yeah, super smooth. 3 white lights there.
He was really too far from the top 3 to push for that, so I'm glad he chose a number that would give him a personal best on total and on deadlift, and a big total to take home with him. Alejandro Cruz Camillo from Spain, 237.5 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump from his second. Finished the day on a high.
Unfortunately not there today, and it's obviously a massive disappointment for our Spanish lifter.
Yeah, not every lifter can walk away on the podium, so they come here with their own idea of what will be a good day for them and goals. So we're bound to see some elation, some disappointment in events like this. And now an extremely important lift. I imagine we'll see some attempt changes regardless how this lift goes. We have Diego Cedeno from Ecuador, currently sitting in gold overall, 242.5 kilos for a 625 total. He is the man to beat, and he has been so strong all day. Unflappable. Can he keep it up for this final pull of the day to give him the best shot of walking away sub-junior world champion? Oh, and that is the first time we have seen him wobble, and not a good time to do it now that Teixeira and Vingeron can slip in and take that gold and that silver and knock him down to bronze. The day is not done for him, but all he can do is sit and wait now.
Yeah, that is the disappointment and negative thing about lifting first, is that it's up to your competitors after you to how you place.
Alfie Bonsall now from Great Britain. Changed his final attempt to 247.5 kilos. Looking to move into deadlift bronze for the time being, still with 5 lifters to follow him. be a huge personal best on both deadlift and total for Alfie if he's to get this. Great final pull for Bonso and a good lift, 3 white lights. Moved into deadlift bronze for the time being.
Alfie's had a great day out on the platform.
Provisionally taking that bronze, but immediately looking to take it off of him, Canada's Eli Millette, who is loading up just below his personal best of 253. He's put 250 kilos in the bar. Giving him his best shot of taking home the deadlift medal. Teixeira and Rodriguez still looking to take that off him if successful, but for now, all he can do is pull. Sticks with it.
Sticking with it?
Yeah, but unfortunately just above the knees where we see sumo break down a lot of the time. $255 kilos for Benjamin Avatum from Great Britain. Another lifter looking to take that deadlift bronze. Be a 15-kilo jump for Benjamin from his second. Huge personal best for him as well. And it's just, again, glued at his thighs there, and it's too much. Only one lifter looking to move around the deadlift podium currently. And 3 deadlifts remaining. Not only looking for deadlift silver, he is looking past that. More importantly, he's looking to pull ahead of Cedeno for the win overall. I imagine Team France at standby, see what they need to put in on the bar to pull more. I imagine they'll drop if they need to and lift it if they do. But right now, Emmanuel Teixeira from Uruguay, 260 kilos, just 5 kilos on top of that second attempt to pull him into pole position overall. And can he hold on to it? Is that locked out? 2-1. No, unfortunately, not locked out. Let's have a look at that again.
The jury is discussing this, however, like quite intently.
Yeah, let's have a look at that final lockout position. Coach goes over to the jury as they discuss it. And is overruled to a good lift. He moves ahead of Ecuador into the pole position. And Team France are to respond. An attempt change has gone in. And we are waiting for that number now on the board. And we have had an attempt change from Rodriguez. 262.5. Has the bar already been loaded is the question. No, they are loading it to 262.5. And this is for Rodriguez Castro to not just get onto the deadlift podium, to move from 4th in deadlift into silver. Conclusion for the overall will have to wait. We've seen France put the number in that they will need. It's 278, just to chip Teixeira by 0.5 kilos. But first up, Marco Rodriguez Castro from Spain, 262.5 for deadlift silver. No, unfortunately, just can't hold his grip, which means Alfie Bonsall from Great Britain ends up with that deadlift bronze.
Obviously a big disappointment there for our young Spanish lifter, but that's understandable when there's so much at stake. Podium positions.
Now one deadlift remaining, and this will answer the question of who walks away 66 kilo sub-junior world champion today. 278 kilos loaded onto the bar, already broke the record of 270.5. Is 7.5 kilos a reasonable jump? That is the question. Already deadlift gold belongs to him, and the deadlift record. This will be for the overall title. Teixeira just took it from Cedeno. Can Vineron take it from Teixeira? That is the question. And for the very last time today, the bar is loaded. Nathan Vineron, 278 kilos to pull ahead and into the position of world champion. And he breaks the floor, but it's just too heavy, and that means Teixeira of Uruguay is your new sub-junior world champion. Heartbreak for France, but elation for Uruguay. And here is the finishing numbers, so close at the end. Nathan Vineron from France, 610.5 in bronze overall. In silver from Ecuador, Diego Cedeno, who led charge the whole day right until the end, 615. And your new world champion was 617.5 kilos from Uruguay, Emmanuel Teixeira. We're going to head into the medal ceremony now before rejoining you later at 6 p.m. local time for the 66 kilo juniors. We'll see you there.
deadlift will receive a participation medal. The medals are given out by the Vice President of the IOTF in our role, the Secretary General Robert Keller. In the 66 kilo junior squat event, the bronze medal in 225 kilos goes to Emmanuel Teixeira. The squat silver medal with 232.5 kilos goes to Diego Sedeno. And the squat gold with 238.5 kilos in the new sub-junior world record goes to Bo Yun Meng. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. In the bench press event, the bronze medal with 137.5 goes to Alejandro Cruz Camilo. The silver medal with 140 kilos goes to Nathan Villarreal. And the bench press gold with 150 kilos goes to Diego Sedeno. Thank you, congratulations. In the deadlift event, the bronze medal with 247.5 kilos goes to Elfie Bonsell. The silver medal with 260 kilos goes to Emmanuel Teixeira. And the deadlift gold medal with 270.5 kilos and a new deadlift sub-junior world record goes to Nathan Villarreal. Congratulations, thank you. In the total results, in third place with 610.5 kilos, Nathan Villarreal of France. In second place with 615 kilos, Diego Sedeno, Ecuador. And your 66 kilos sub-junior world champion with 617.5 kilos, Emmanuel Teixeira, Uruguay. Everybody please stand for the Uruguay national anthem. you once again. You're now expecting 60 and 6 kilo juniors. Thank you.